Hey there. Hi. I'm doing something different this week. I have this giant beanbag chair and I rarely ever sit in it. So, here I am. Also, this is much shorter this week. I'm trying out some new things. I have a new camera. It looks okay right now. I also have a 3D printer running. I'm going to try to show a live view from the 3D printer. Let's see if I can do that now. We're not streaming anywhere else. This is just a Twitch show tonight. Let's see if I can change this video capture device. I wanted to show off the printer. Nope, can't do that. Okay. Well, there's a glass print bed now, and my first attempt at using it, I'm printing a couple parts out of TPU. I will let people know what happens. I almost want to get up and fix this camera, but that's not going to happen right now. What I will do though is get straight into some Tinkercad. Let me mash some buttons. And do this. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna pull my stuff aside here. So last week, a couple weeks ago, I made this design. Let me take a peek over here at what it looks like in Tinkercad. Let me shift things up here just a hair. I will leave it like that for now. Cool. So I'm gonna zoom out so I can give you some hints, tips, and tricks, things I changed. One thing I learned, I printed this out. It looks fancy. It works very well. One thing we're going to do soon, in June, we're going to set up a page where you can download some of these models where I am not trying to struggle with overwhelming Tinkercad. One thing I've learned is I can share and invite people to this space, and you can take my models, but that doesn't work when a big crowd shows up. The Tinkercad space is not big enough for all of us to make this a short discussion. But I will be exporting these models and we'll be putting them on a server and sharing that way. And I will be giving you links to cool, fancy stuff that I've done in the past. One follow-up on this model before I ditch it is, this is a margarita maker, mixer, lime squeezer object. It worked out very, very, very well, aside from one problem. I made this hollow original. I've come back and I've changed it. I've made this structure not hollow inside. I've taken out all the hollow pieces. The hollow part collapsed on me with a little too much pressure, and I don't have it to show. The other part I would recommend is, and I may make an edit to this, is my lemon lime juicer part spins, it rotates. Like when we put it in this little spot here, it doesn't stay put. So what I originally thought was I would add a 1, maybe 2 millimeter half circle like that into this plate. that. And of course I would lower it. And lift it up so that it does one of those numbers. And then I would duplicate it. Bring it over here. Drop it down so that it goes to 0. And turn it into a hole to create the same notch in the bottom of my my juicer, squeezer thing, whatever you call it, whatever I call it a juicer. That way, when you push down on this, in here it doesn't it does not spin. There's no spinning of the lime juicer. Other than that, these parts, I'm going to download these at some other point in time. I would love to share them with you right now, but I'm going to clean them up. We're going to download them. Like I said, in June, we'll have a landing page where we can collect the files. And if you would rather donate, you can donate and we will print the files. Overall, though, this turned out very well. I would like to create some ridges on here. I don't know if that's going to happen or if it's possible. In Tinkercad, very, very easily. But what I am going to do tonight is not follow up with this little kit. Instead, I'm going to go back to my original project, this case toolbox. Dun, dun, dun. And we had this crazy example. I had these thumb spaces that I had created to be able to grab an object or grab a box or grab a lid. And I modeled it up here. And on what would be a latch. You can see where maybe these boxes fit together. I just wanted to give a practical example of what actually would happen. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm actually going to, well, I'm not going to delete these. How about we just stuff them way over there? I am going to open in a new window. Recent designs. I'm looking for none of these. I'm going to close that. I'm going to back out. I'm going to open Tinkercad in a new window because what I want to grab is in here. I have this crazy box that I was working on, but inside this box there's a part that I really want. Undo. Oh, there it is, right there. I'm going to copy that part into this space. This is an Arduino. It is a SparkFun Arduino Mini Pro. That is the STL file that I downloaded from SparkFun's website. I want to build a project box for this Arduino. So I'm going to get it started tonight. You can see what they've done here from the STL file from SparkFun is they've laid out all the pinholes for all of the breadboard components, all of the connectors, everything, all the true holes in the board, and the actual board size for this particular Arduino. I would like a project box for this. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to start with all of this. And I'm going to start with the built-in project box. And I think it's in here somewhere. So I'm going to keep scrolling until I find it. I think I'm getting close. I think I'm getting close. So close. Meta fillet. No. Project box. There we go. I'm going to drop 2 of them in. And I'm going to make one of them the box and one of them the lid. I want this to fit well for my Arduino. It doesn't. So I'm going to start modeling this stuff. And I'm going to go back to the home view, do this number. So here's where I'm going to change some of the dimensions of this project box. And I think we're going to leave it with some pins. So we're going to do the breadboard thing. And we're going to make extra rows and columns. Let's try 8. See what happens. Does it get crazy? Did it give me 8? It did not give me 8. Whoa, okay. How about we go with, let's try 15. Okay, cool. I've never used this before, so I'm trying it out. Let's go with 10 here. Let's see how big that blows up. Poof. Cool. So now I've got this little breadboard component that I can add to the box here, and then I can stick my Arduino in there, just like that. So that's part of what I want to do. I need to lift this up a little bit. No, not the box. I want to lift this up a little bit, like that. In fact, I could. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. That's where I'm gonna leave that part lifted up. And now I'm gonna shrink my box, the project box down, so that if I were to, let's say, fit my Arduino on here, just like that, I could actually take a row of pins off. So that's 10. I'm going to make it 9. Just like that. So I can drop this in and have connectors in here to make this basically connectable with the jumper wires. Cool. So now I want to change the sizes of everything here. Basically, I'm gonna change the what do we have here? It's 50 by 50. So if I change the length to 40, closer, I'm going to go 25. Cool. Now let's see if I line these up. What happens? In the center, 25 is just barely not enough. So I'm going to go with 30 millimeters wide. Dun 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 dun. Align. center. Cool. So I've got this little box, 30. So now I can do the same thing here. Make the length here 30. Now it's cut down so it fits on top. Okay. That's not bad. Yeah. Not bad yet. So when I use my Arduino, my Mini Pro, I have pins that come out on an L shape, so they stick out. So they stick out this way. They would stick out over here. So I think what I want to do is make a cutout on the side. Like this. I'm going to make it a 2mm cutout. Doesn't have to be very wide. I'm going to center it on the box. Like that. Now I can get my header pins in and out. And if we zoom in, it's just barely catching the lid, so I want to lower this a bit. Not a full millimeter, maybe a half a millimeter. Like that. Still catching the top. So maybe I do want to lower it a full millimeter. Yep, right there I'm not catching the top anymore. Okay. I'm going to combine those shapes. Poof. Now I've got a groove cut in to the side of this project box so that when I have the pin headers off my Arduino, they fit coming out. Cool. Now, let's take a look at this lid. This lid has these louvers in it, and I really kind of dig the louvers. I think they're kind of cool. What they don't really do for me is allow me to get jumper wires in and out. So the way I have this project box set up is the Mini Pro is going to snap down into this space, and then there's these outside jumpers that we can connect to. Or the other way around, we flip our Arduino over so that the soldered sides are down in this and our pins are sticking out. In which case we want to raise this up a bit so that it's not 10 millimeters, but so that it's actually, how high is this off? It's 5, so that's 5 millimeters, so that gives us a few millimeters of space before this lid impacts. But this board is set up so that we can use jumpers on it, so I am going to lift the board up. We're going to go to 15 millimeters, that tall. Cool. Which means I'm going to double click here and I'm going to drop this down even further. I'm going to drop this down 5 millimeters because we raised our part 5. And when you see when I double click this, it gives me access to the parts. And now when I click away, it goes back to joining them in a unity. So right now, this is better lined up with my Arduino down there. You can see. And then we still have overhead space to add more jumpers up here. I'm going to leave this as is. And instead of, see how this is 1.75, I'm going to make this also 1.75. We're going to make this a 10 by 10. Actually, no, we will make it a 20 by 20. Nah, I was going to add a thumb slide to this, but these louvers will create enough friction for us to pull objects back and forth. So I'm not going to modify the louvers. But I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to kind of dry fit it, see what it looks like. Nope. So that's about where it would sit. I'm going to move this to, because it's 1.75 in height, I'm going to lift this up like that. That is quite literally what it would look like with this project box together. And of course we can move it so that it slides in and out like that. You can see it. Oh, there is a bit of space. So I can bring it, I can lower it like that. Cool. In fact, I might be able to lower it one more like that. That's probably how it fit in real life. Excellent. So we have this slipper on the outside. Got this space on the side. That's pretty much my complete project box. How's that? And this fits my Arduino Mini Pro. The only other thing I would appreciate doing is combining these parts to make the breadboard permanent in the bottom, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I might not do that. What I might do oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm not showing you the live version of me printing right now. The camera is shaking uncontrollably as I have infill settings set to, well, basically shake. It's amusing from over here. Maybe you can hear it, but if you can't, I almost want to try to get some video of this later. This is about where I'm gonna leave my project. I'm gonna undo adding this breadboard, and the reason for that is I'm going to export all of these devices as one, just like this. These three shapes I will export as a face toolbox. I will print all of these shapes so that I can stuff this in Cura and try it out as these two shapes printed together, or these two shapes printed as parts that I can add. And the reason being, I want the breadboard that I can take out, I think. So that is appealing to me as a designer and as a person who's going to be using this SparkFun board. So what I'm going to do is leave everything where it is right here, print these, and depending on how this works out this week, it's possible that we expand this, add the breadboard as a permanent part, and leave room in the expansion. If we bring this back from 30 millimeters to maybe 60 millimeters, then all of a sudden it's possible there's room for batteries, there's room for sensors, there's room for other mechanics, other fun stuff. But this is the basic project box to start with that I just stole out of the shape generator, modified very simply with just a few really dimensional changes, and then this cutout where you can see pin headers for the serial port, which is right here. These are the USB power, ground, transmit, receive, and I forget what the parts are on the end. There are two extra pieces, two extra pins. But off the top of my head, they escape me. But I do know this is for the USB, and the standard USB is a 5-volt positive rail, a ground pin, and the transmit receive pins. Those are the 4 wires you see in the USB port. So that is where I'm going to leave this as a project design, because it was not intended to be a very long project. It was not intended to be a very deep project. This is part 1. We're actually now part 3 of a toolbox of parts. So we're gonna stuff all this to the side up here, and I will come back next week. Maybe we expand our parts into something a little more productive. We give you something to look at on the 3D printer. Now this glass bed has been installed and it looks super fancy. Maybe I'll throw some pictures or video on Instagram tomorrow. And also these files I wanted to show my face. I missed last week. I had some internet struggles, but I wanted to hop on here at least for a few minutes, do something productive for someone, and share the plan that I realize we want to be giving away some of these designs. We want to be sharing them. We want to be printing them for anybody who doesn't have access to a printer. You can donate, and we will work that out. So the next step in hosting content here is a landing page where you will be able to find links to these STL files, or donate, you know, next to the STL file and ask for a printed copy. That's about it. I'm not even going to switch back to my camera. I'm disappointed that I can't show you what's printing on the printer right now. But I will leave with a very short message. It's Thursday, tomorrow is Friday, the beginning of the weekend. Take some time for some downtime, take some time for some self-care, take some time to take care of yourself. If you can't help yourself, you don't have the bandwidth to help other people. When I first joined the Army 20 years ago, I learned one simple lesson as a chemical guy, we'll call me. Basically, one of the first things I learned in the military was that if you can't put your own chemical mask on to protect yourself, you will not be around to be able to help anybody else. The same works in life. If you're constantly stressing yourself out, you won't have the ability to take care of other people. So I know it sounds dumb and maybe it's repetitive, but find some time to do something fun. The weekend is a perfect prompt to do that, and that's it. I just passed my 30-minute mark here, and I'm gonna hop off and make a little plan for some self-care of my own. Okay. Good night. We'll see you. Hey, hi. Hey. Oh, you just got a 3D printer but haven't hooked it up yet. Let me see if I can chat with you. Um, hmm. This is Tinkercad. Tinkercad is designed by Autodesk. It is online at tinkercad.com, I think. I think that's the website. Yep, that is the website. I use this to design all kinds of things, if you haven't caught it yet. And when I go to get it to my 3D printer, I export it as this kind of 3D file right here. And that's where I put it into the software. And maybe next week, if you're around, I will share more of the 3D printer end of what's happening when I get this box. But yeah, hook up your 3D printer, set it up, and come on back, ask some questions. Other than that, though, I'm gonna hop off, and we'll do this again next week. Cool. Have a fun weekend with your printer.